All of his co-workers were gone.
No.
Stanley decided
No.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright. What is up? I am back. I'm playing the Stanley Parable 2 this time. So this is after the new content. And, alright. So... So this has the new content in it and stuff.
No matter how hard
But
Stanley
it does
worked,
have the
he
old
couldn't
content
find
in
a
it
trace
too,
of his
still too.
co-workers.
It just has the bucket now
Stanley picked
added.
up the bucket.
And these balloons spread out all over. And this pole right here. Some other little details too. Oh, the new content door is gone.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the
I
meeting
want to
room,
see
but Stanley
what
had felt the
happens
bucket calling to him,
when I have the
telling him
bucket
that
and I
the
go this way.
employee lounge was simply the place to be.
I know that
And here it was. Had
there
the
is.
bucket turned out to be correct,
I didn't
was
do
there-
this in
never
the
mind,
original
the bucket was wrong.
before Stanley
took the
Parable
door on
2.
his left to go back to the meeting room.
I might do this on me.
No,
Said the bucket.
No.
don't go to the meeting room. Go
I'm
somewhere
gonna meet
else.
around.
The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Stanley. Yes. Okay.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley
I don't know
figurines.
where any of the
Remember,
other ones are,
no
though.
reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Alright. You can jump to your death right here if you want to. Even if you climb down and figure out how to climb down, it will kill you if you touch the bottom of this area. I wish you could explore this area more. I wonder if they're ever gonna like release a DLC or something for this. I don't think they are. They did an amazing job with this game. They did an amazing job with the original game, the Stanley Parable. Oh, people love that game. And this is pretty much just that with some new content added. And so it's amazing.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track.
Don't even know.
Nothing feels real anymore.
It's zooming in. It's zooming in.
Bucket, the less sense anything makes.
He's flipping out about the bucket.
Euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure?
The bucket.
I can monetize.
Does it go in black and white?
Yes.
It's going black and white,
It's
kind of.
unthinkable the amounts of money
Yeah.
people will pay for even
It
just
stuff's getting a lot
hour
saturated.
with
The
the
colors
bucket.
can't. Super saturated.
This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that? Who's there? Camporata.
Cambrarata.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Yeah. Alright. Let's see what happens when I go into that room when I
Stanley
don't have a
came to
bucket.
set of 2 open doors.
So I never
This was
did
not
that.
the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, but eager to get back to business. Stanley
And then
took
we'll
the
explore
first
more
open
about the
door on his
bucket.
left.
Yeah,
Stanley
we're
was
just
so bad
rushing.
at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
There's some other ending. I didn't even go past a lift with. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna explore some of the endings.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path. You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely
So in the bucket
bolt off
one,
the couch
is
in
it
pure shock at the
Stanley
phenomenal
who's
and
talking
intricate storytelling. It
on the
must be
tape?
so simple to be you. Life being an
It's someone
unending
else.
waterfall of surprises and delights.
I think
How
it's
much more
Stanley.
exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Alright. A pretty short ending. That was a cool ending though.
Stanley decided to go to the
I think the
meeting room
bucket
to check on
endings are
his
funny though.
coworkers. He never functioned well
Bucket.
by himself, and constant Stanley lifted the
demon
bucket
got
into his
to him.
arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Alright, let's go. Bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt.
Let's
the
see what
bucket
the
calling
door,
to him, telling
the
him
two
that
door,
employee lounge
the
was simply
red
the
and
place
blue
to
door
be.
ending.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was no. Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't
No.
go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Go there, cargo left. Yeah. Go there.
Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
No, I jumped down.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point."
Wait, what?
Stanley, how could you think it was okay
Oh.
to bring the bucket here?
Right there.
Unless-
No
what if
packet.
The problem is
Bucket
that you
past this.
actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket.
No.
I suppose that would
I
explain
wanna
a
see
lot
what the
about your
door
behavior up
is.
to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket.
Come on.
Please, step in here for a moment.
Alright. Let's do this. I guess. What is a bucket?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios,
But
and you'll tell
cool.
me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell
Yeah.
us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket.
Is this a bucket?
Okay, let's begin.
Let's go.
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
The bucket. Oh, the hologram of bucket.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
Is that a bucket? No.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket.
A 3D
not an actual bucket.
printed recreation of bucket would still be a bucket because, like, it probably could hold water and stuff.
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Correct. This is a bucket.
I got them right so far.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
That's a tractor.
Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one.
Hey, I got every single question right so far. So, hey.
Is this a bucket?
It's just a bucket. Yup.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Yep, it's a bucket. Oh my god.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Is it a bucket? No.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Both. How is it both? Oh, what? How is it
Item-
not a bucket
Hold
and
on, I
a
can't
bucket at
find
the
the
same
next
time?
one.
Is
Let's
it
see,
sugar and
around
scat?
here somewhere. Yes, thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless
Everything is a
that what you
bucket.
think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
Everything is bucket.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't
What
a
is
bucket?
bucket?
Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I
What is a bucket?
Stanley,
Are
I
you a
can't keep
bucket?
doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No.
Okay, here we go.
No. Oh, buckets.
What
No.
happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything
Everything's
a
a
bucket?
bucket.
Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you,
It's
Stanley,
Stanley.
you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
It's all a bucket. Oh no.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Alright.
Stanley decided to go to the
We'll
meeting
explore
room.
some more
Perhaps
bucket
the
names.
confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away
Like,
as Stanley embraced
buy
the bucket.
more. If depending on how long they are. Wait. What? This is different.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Yes. The bucket is correct. Bucket is always correct.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Alright, let's go. Let's go down. I want to try to explore
Oh, good,
the endings
Stanley.
I got
I'm glad you found your way here. I knew
originally.
you'd find this place eventually.
The baby, the fire,
You see,
the
your
lion.
friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around.
Broom
everywhere.
closet. All these
The
are
bucket
endings.
Isn't even from the original
I don't know what the
Stanley
shredder,
Parable. It's just sequel
pencil
content.
shredder is.
We're the ones that matter,
That's
Stanley.
a
Classic
computer.
characters from the first game, like
That's
the
a terminal
Adventure Line and the Broom
computer.
Closet. Because that's what
So that
fans
means
want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes,
the
not
chair.
this bucket that they've never seen before.
Plant.
Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much
Car.
time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes,
Ooh,
yes.
Adventure
that's
Line,
what
come
the
on.
fans want. Let's do it.
Yes.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
No. No, this. No. Dang it.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
What?
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
What? My bucket? I'm never getting up with my bucket.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
No, the bucket
I think it'll make a
destroyer.
wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it
No.
also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to
No.
me it already feels
In
as
my
though it's been
bucket.
part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
I'm gonna try to turn off this machine.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer,
It's starting
you would
to,
see
like,
that its
go
desire
really
to crush
fast
buckets
now.
is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and
Everything just went white. What the heck? Is this Halo music?
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spell-binding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend.
Goodbye, bucket.
For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
I like that ending. I want to explore the one that you crush the bucket now.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is
Wait,
this
what?
Stanley's office?
There's something wrong with this office?
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
The bucket changes
Stanley
endings.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Alright.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Alright.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this
There's a ton of
bucket
endings I
you'll
haven't
find
got.
everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because
The
that's
Adventure
what
Line,
fans
I
want
love the
from the
Adventure
sequel.
Line.
They want more of their
Adventure
favorite
Line.
jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly
Raw
music as well.
assets. And music's kind of annoying.
This is what the Stanley Parable is
That
all
annoyed
about.
me.
Don't you remember all those great
What?
jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley.
Was that
Let's
in
give
the
them
original
more
game?
content exactly like this.
I think I
But
said that.
if we want to do that, you're
What?
going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's
Alright,
why
I'll
I'm
get.
very proud
I'll
to
get rid
introduce
of
a
the
brand new
bucket.
character. This is
No.
the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a
This is a funny
well-fleshed-out
game.
character with so much personality that to me,
But
it
over,
really
like-
feels as though it's been part of the cast all along.
The funniest
Don't
game
you
I
agree?
played like in recent times
Can
is
you
Trover
guess what
Saves
the
the
Bucket
Universe.
Destroyer
The
does?
game's amazing.
Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye
This
to
game
the
is
bucket,
really good though.
and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket.
I
don't
can't.
know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket.
I can't.
Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley
So you
Parable
can't even
characters?
destroy the bucket
Well, you
in
see,
the first
if
place.
you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that
You can't
about?
throw in the
Broom
bucket.
Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring.
Alright, let's just begin the game again then. I can't throw in the bucket.
Even
And
now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley
All right,
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the
let's
door
go
on
this
his
way.
left.
let's try the elevator up and down. Again. Trust the completionist. Man, this became really stark. So Standarines don't appear until now. Here's a broom closet. I didn't get the broom closet when I didn't have the bucket.
Can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel
You
that,
want the
can't you?
bucket?
The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
No, this is my
I
bucket.
can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket.
No.
I know how hard
my
it must
bucket.
be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now
Wow.
the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never.
No.
Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom
This is
closet
my
off
bucket.
for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences
This is
you and
my
the bucket have
bucket.
shared
Broom
together.
closet.
Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years.
I love
Let
this
him
book.
have it.
This is my bucket. This is my bucket. Broom closet. Can't have my bucket.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go.
Property
There.
of Stanley.
Now it's
Thank
settled.
you.
No more debate, no more discussion. Take a
I got a
hike through
picture,
the closet.
or I
We'll
got
all
a
go
sticker
meandering
on my
philosophical
bucket.
diatribes
Yes.
about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things. All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh, the bucket. The sticker of bucket. I didn't get to hear the dialogue for that. Oh, there's a Stanley Lean.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you
Oh,
know, there really must
heck
be
yeah.
a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Yeah, I kind of heard that before. So I've been calling them
But Stanley
Stanley
just
from the
couldn't do
beginning.
it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself,
Maybe I'm crazy.
I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom
Yeah,
for me
bucket's
in
great
difficult
guidance.
times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt
The
none of its
bucket.
familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal,
Oh, no.
everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket.
Not his
How
bucket?
did I end up with someone else's bucket?
What?
This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come
Oh,
from this.
no,
Who
where's my
knows
bucket?
What sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience
My bucket?
without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now
My
he
bucket.
noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed.
My bucket,
Without
my
my bucket, I've
bucket.
gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it.
My
Far off
bucket.
in the distance now, he heard it calling to him.
Oh.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room,
Oh,
passing by
there's
one bucket
buckets.
after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to
Bucket.
me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return
my
to his
bucket?
old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
What?
It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
All right.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariella.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular
Here's a
day,
bucket
her
too.
walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life
The
kicks
bucket.
ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Backflipped all the way to work. Didn't call the police. No, no, no. Backflip all the
his
way to work.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided
How
to
do you
go to
do
the
that
meeting
with
room.
the bucket in
Perhaps he
your
had
hand?
simply missed a memo. The good old bucket. Just
They
Stanley and
still
the
have my
bucket,
pictures.
off on
Or
another thrilling
stickers.
adventure
Stickers,
together.
not pictures.
Stanley clutched
Well,
the bucket
stickers
tightly
are
to his
pictures.
chest, and this was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
And Lorraine's. So I got
Coming to a
one
staircase,
down there.
Stanley and the bucket walked
I just need
upstairs to the boss's office.
3 more. I don't even know where any of them are. I think maybe one's in the boss's office. Oh,
Okay,
it's
I'm
in the
going back to
bathroom right
the
here.
name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think?
Figlays.
What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that
Big
you get
lays.
from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
To be rich is a crime. To commit crimes isn't it rich? What a life it would be to have to pick just one. All it does is have the narrator sing. It doesn't do anything special for the bucket. Alright.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to
Manager.
discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if
What's
not
that
for
sound?
the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the pin number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical
Yeah, I don't know what that
explanation.
sound is. So many endings to this game. I couldn't throw the bucket into the thing.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is
I want to
here,
try to get
Stanley.
a lot of the
Everything
endings
will be fine.
eventually.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When
Can
I
we
was
go
pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
3. Okay. Let's go press number 3. Because there is this weird sound coming from over here.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over. Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection
3.
with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
All right.
Perhaps the
Let's go
bucket had
down
missed
again.
something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly. A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should he? No, 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 said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through
Yes, the number
so
3
much
means so much
together,
to me.
and I just want you to see what I see. Feel
Three,
the
three, three, three,
happiness
three,
I
three, three.
feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing. Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator. Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion
I want
of
the bucket.
Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
Wow. All right, going back up.
Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him,
Oh,
and why he felt so alive.
this was the
when
ending
pressing
for
it.
the
Then the bucket would be able to see his joy
like
through
the
eyes
whole
of
big
others.
thing.
It would get to see
I remember
the world
in the
react to
original.
this discovery of Stanley's.
And
it would
then-
be through the public eye that the bucket would finally
I wonder what the
understand
bucket ending will
Stanley's
be
work.
for this. Oh,
For
it
months,
is.
he advertised and marketed his
live on
press
stage.
conference, building excitement around it.
All those are
developing
the
and
same.
rehearsing it until it couldn't be
Last time.
refined a single measure further. When
Stage
the
door.
big day arrived,
Yeah.
Stanley was
same.
as prepared as he'd ever been.
None of them
anything in his
changed
life.
for the bucket ending. No, the stage, and then there's a bunch of 3s now. That changed. There's a bunch of 3s
This was
on
it.
there.
One
Still
last
says
chance to
427.
win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one.
I love this game. This game's amazing. I highly, highly recommend playing this
There was
game.
no one
Like,
here.
yeah, it's cool to
Nobody
watch
would
some
come to the
videos
press
of this
conference
game
to
and
hear
you can
Stanley speak,
explore it
to
and
listen
stuff
to him talk
by
about what
watching
it
videos
really
and
means.
get a premise
the
with the game.
number
But
3
like
on a
playing it
keypad over
yourself
and
is
over.
so much better.
He was unloved, uninteresting. He was a failure. And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be
It's
no
a sad
connection,
ending.
no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years,
3.
the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less.
Welcome to my
neither wishing to
conference.
state the
I just want
obvious,
to tell you about
but
the
any
number
sense
3.
of
It's
real
so great.
respect between
Yeah,
them
yeah.
had eroded since that day at the press conference.
Just ignore what the narrator
There
is
would be
saying.
no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
That was a good ending. Let's do 2 more bucket ending.
How
And then we'll
wonderful.
get off.
Stanley was alone. Finally.
So I
This
still
is
need to edit
great, he
videos.
thought to himself. Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went
Yeah.
together would be perfect. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Alright, Harry. Let's go with what you say. Where are all the other figurines?
Coming to a staircase,
Maybe
Stanley
there's
and
some
the bucket
un-
walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Since I was in the boss's office, yeah, I found one already. Here. There has to be one
Stepping
down
into his manager's office, Stanley was once
there.
again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
There's
Crushed by
2,
the weight
8,
of this revelation,
4.
Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the
Ah,
bucket.
There you
But
go.
Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding
Oh,
him?
you can actually skip
Yes,
that dialogue
this is
now
certainly the most
with just
logical
having the
explanation.
bucket. Nice. That's a lot better now. So in the original game, you couldn't skip that, or it would play music, annoy you. But in this, you get
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large
the
door that
bucket.
read Mind Control Facility.
Yeah.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television.
There's so many
screens.
more endings
What
I need
horrible
to
secret
do.
did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both
Especially
wondered
with the
to
mind
themselves.
control area. Even a regular game. Not grabbing the bucket is the regular game. So you can still play the regular, the non-2 version.
Monitors jumped to life, and Stanley
But-
nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped.
We are
monitored
in
by
the Stanley
guinea
Parable
pigs.
2 now.
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears.
But there is still
Stanley
content
cradled
from
it
Stanley
gently,
Parable 1.
reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first
What does the
place?
bucket want to do?
These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
I can trust nobody but the bucket.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in,
let's try the on, and then we try off.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds.
Birds.
Silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
I was just flips through a bunch of birds.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions.
Why would you need to use a facade like
Stanley
mind
marveled
control
at the metal genius in his
for
hands,
watching birds?
the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery.
Mind
Stanley
control
and the
could
bucket never
be
found
classified
freedom
as
because
kind
they
of
spent the
illegal.
rest of their lives here in this place, flipping
And so,
through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable.
Birds.
Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Alright. Birds. Alright, let's see what happens when I press off this time. Let's just rush
How
there.
long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on. A good bucket. A strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
How do I unlock the new content? Again, I think I have to find all the little figurines. I didn't even look in this area.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Alright, I need to look.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
Bucket knew all along, yeah.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Alright. Let's see. And I've been streaming for almost 4 hours now. And this has been almost constant streaming. There's been very little breaks. Good stream though.
The lights rose
I like
on
this
an
game.
enormous room packed
Definitely
with
will be
television
playing this again.
screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
Probably not this week
Stanley
though,
and the bucket both
because
wondered to themselves.
I need a little break from this game after today. 4 hours of this game today, man.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped.
I played
monitored like
games for a
kids.
long time though.
The bucket had never seen anything like this.
A lot longer
It
than
very
4
nearly
hours
burst
in a
into
day.
tears
I
as
played
Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that
Resident
everything
Evil
would be fine.
8 when it came out. I played that for 12 hours in one day.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept
No.
it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Alright, let's
As
see
the
what
cold
the off
reality of
button
his
does.
past began to
Let's
sink in,
go.
Stanley decided that this...
Off.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
What's over?
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the
Yes.
bucket had defeated their greatest and
So
darkest
it-
enemy. Freed
it
themselves
does end
from the
pretty
tyrannical
much
grip
the
of
same.
the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True,
Who
it was
does
a simple
that?
life they envisioned,
Like,
but it was
who
one
does
lived
that?
together, with one another
Watch
to
it
lean
in
on,
reverse.
to trust, to support.
Wait.
What? Wait. What was
What?
happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and
No.
the bucket not about to be
It's
freed?
outside. I can see it.
Unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
Well, it doesn't want the bucket to
Even the
leave.
facility
What?
itself
No.
recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket. Needed
No,
the soothing
facility.
warmth of the bucket. Would go to any
I need
lengths
this
to
bucket.
part with the bucket.
In my bucket.
No, no, no.
And I'm going out
Stanley
there.
can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in
I
his
can't see
arms.
anything.
Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized
I can't
he would
see
never
anything.
again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought.
I literally can't
as long
see
as I have
anything.
my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Right. Well, that was an interesting ending. Wait. It's not ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the the embrace of an old friend, a weathered
Look.
companionship that stands
It's
the
not
test of
ending
time.
yet. Whoa, wait. It brings you to the two doors. I think I'm forced to go this way.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The
I
bucket
thought that was
wrong.
some special thing.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Now let's just die
No,
with the bucket.
Said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting
Yes.
room. Go somewhere else. The cargo.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
I didn't even check for a Stanley ring. I keep on doing that. Alright, well, I'll get this last couple collectibles in the next stream/video for this game. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. We did venture out and do a bunch of the bucket endings, but we didn't only scratch the surface on those. This is a really good game. For $25, maybe it's a little bit much. Hey, it's a good game. I truly would support the creators and buy it if you like the looks of this game. Playing it is a lot different than just watching videos. It's a lot more enjoyable. Yes, it's funny watching the videos of people playing it. I get humor out of it watching that. Hey, you might get humor out of it watching me play this game. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Alright, see you in the next video.